Hello, my name is Brent. I am the owner of C4F, where I do consulting for mostly fitness businesses, but I am expanding into other industries, helping scale big, small, medium-sized businesses to help them become more profitable, dial in their sales, their marketing, their product suite, all of the above, and I absolutely love it. So I want to share with you guys what that process looks like for me when I go into a business. In the initial consulting phases where I gather information, I see what's going on, I look under the hood, I'll tell you exactly what I look at and how I determine what's a priority and what can be kind of put to the side for a moment while we focus on bigger needle moving issues in the meantime. Okay, so before we dive into that, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, send to a friend if these videos are helpful. If you learn anything at all in regards to business, in regards to sales, mindset, anything, if you learn anything, send to a friend. It means the world to me. You guys see, I am ready to go skiing today. It's Tuesday. It's freaking Tuesday. Nobody booked on my calendar today by the grace of God. I've never seen that happen. Got all my work done, hit a bunch of follow-ups, did a whole bunch of things all morning, and then I decided, my day is over at 11:30 a.m. I'm going to go ski the rest of the day. Perks of living in Colorado, and it is fresh powder, fresh into the ski season. And boy, is that exciting. So before I go and do that, I want to talk to you guys about the different levels of evaluating a business. So you have the 30,000 foot view. So like, imagine you're in an airplane looking down, you just see everything from an aerial perspective. So that's the 30,000 foot. You have the 10,000 foot. So you're a little bit closer. Imagine you're in like a propeller plane, or you're kind of on the descent to landing. You have the 1,000 foot view, which is, imagine what 1,000 feet looks like above, and then ground level, boots on the ground. What does everything look like from that perspective? Four very different perspectives when we're talking about evaluating a business. So from the 30,000 foot view, what we're talking about is macro level. So what we're focusing on is overall health and financial metrics of the business, overall success. Are we hitting KPIs? Are we hitting projections? Are we not hitting projections? And how are those projections actually set at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the month? So think 30,000 foot view. That is big picture, understanding the drivers of both revenue growth and profitability. So top line revenue, bottom line profitability. Okay, that's the 30,000 foot view. So when we think about 30,000 feet, we think about new leads. Okay, so the overall volume of new potential clients that enter your funnel. This could be from ads, organic, cold outreach, cold calling. So basically all lead flow from the very top of funnel. New clients. So how many people from a macro perspective make it to your finish line? Okay, and this could be on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly, perspective. But basically, overall, if you're looking 30,000 feet, how many people did we have opt in, or did we book onto a call, and how many of those just became clients? That's just it, just beginning to end. How much money do we make? And then another very important metric, not a lot of people track this, okay? And by not a lot, I mean almost no one, is lead to close ratio. So let's talk about what a lead is. Hormozi has a blast with this, and everybody defines a lead differently. It's very strange to have so much variability within just a single word. A lead is anybody who, this is how some people view it, a lead is anybody who's possibly interested in working together. So if you pass someone in the street and they're like, hey, cool shirt, looks like you're a fitness coach, is that right? And you're like, yep. That would be a lead to some people. Like, man, I need to go find that person again. A lead to me, just as basic as it gets, is name, email, phone number. I would even go as far as to say email or phone number. So name, email, or phone number, or both. Okay, so if you pass someone in the grocery store, they're like, hey, sick shirt, looks like you're a fitness coach, and you're like, yeah, I am. When I exchange numbers, I'm actually running a sale this month for Black Friday. If you ever thought about getting in shape for a big discount, and they're like, yeah, take down my number, I'll shoot you a text. That's a lead, in my opinion. But again, everyone has a different definition, so getting clear on that definition is important. So leads, okay, so lead to close ratio, back to that 30,000 foot metric. Lead to close ratio is how many name, email, and or phone numbers did you get throughout the month? Let's say that number is 100, just for simplicity, okay? 3% is the gold standard, like that you should try to hit for your lead to close ratio. So if you get 100 leads, you should try to close, or not, you should try to close all of them, but you should hope to close about 3 of them. Okay, so for 1,000 or 10,000 leads, 3% of that is what you would hope that cross the finish line and actually become a paying client. Okay, so when we're thinking macro 30,000 foot view, that's new leads, new clients, and overall lead to close ratio. Okay, so let's break it down. There's a few other metrics that are really important when it comes to that. If you're doing paid traffic, which a lot of you are, that's going to be your return on ad spend. So basically, how much did we spend? How much did we both contract? And then how much did we collect? This varies. A lot of people wonder, like, what's a good return? It just depends. It depends on your industry. It depends on your avatar. It depends on whether it's B2B, B2C. It depends on the model. There's the types of ads. I mean, there's so much. There's no one set ROAS that you can confidently say this is what it has to be. But I'll give you some ranges for B2C. Typically, if you're in that 5 to 10 range, you're doing pretty good. I would even go as far as to say 6 to 10. For every $6 you put in, or every $1 you put in, you get 6 back. 6 to 10 is what we found to be really good. Now, if you're in that 4 to 5 range B2C, you're not doing bad. You're getting a return so long as your collected is positive, right? At least 1.0, you're getting at least what you put in ad spend. But that's a different conversation for a different day. If you're talking B2B, realistically, that 4 to 6x return on contracted is pretty good, and then 2 to 4x plus on your collected is really, really good. So again, different for everybody, but one of those big metrics is overall return on ad spend, how much cash you're collecting and how much new revenue you're generating. So the difference between those two, I hope cash collected is, hey, I just sold a $10,000 program. He put $5,000 down, and then the other $5,000 is due in 30 days. I collected 5, I contracted 10. Right? So those are really like the 6 major metrics for 30,000 foot view. Okay. New leads, new clients, lead to close ratio, ROAS, new cash collected, new revenue generated. Okay. Now we come down to the 10,000 foot view. So we get a little bit closer. We're starting to see a little bit more definition on that map, right? So basically what we're looking at is overall departments. Okay. We're, basically seeing how the heads of the departments contribute to the company's goals, and basically evaluating the effectiveness and use case for each department and if it's valuable, right? So for this, if you have a sales team, you probably have someone who's in charge of managing, or it's you. Some metrics for that are going to be your close rate. They're going to be your show rate, right? The 2 major basic ones. If you have an SDR team, you're going to be looking at basically, the people who are reaching out to canceled closing calls, canceled triage, no shows, meaningful conversations, and new leads who never responded. You're kind of working back, from hottest to coldest. So like the canceled all the way back to just the new leads that just opted in, gave name, phone, email. You're evaluating SDR metrics and seeing how overall their performance is doing. Okay. As a department. So our SDR team did this, our closing team did this, our DM team did this, right? So you're looking at a department level from the 10,000 foot view. Now from 1,000 foot view, now we really start to see some definition. This is from an individual performance. So this is taking a closer look at like how each individual contributes and performs within their role. So understanding how each rep impacts the success of the department. See how we're just getting more and more granular. So this is basically individual rep metrics for, SDRs, DMers, like their how many calls they're booking based on how many they're offering, the friend request acceptance rate, all the prospecting metrics are going to be within that. The SDR is going to be your answer rate, your rate in which they push to a call, the closing rate on that call. There's a whole bunch of metrics for SDRs, and then closers, right? That is your close rates, your average contracted amount, your average lifetime value of the clients, revenue generated per client, like things like that. You're going to track a bunch of metrics for that. So you have your outbound, your SDRs, and your closers, right? This is crucial for identifying your top performers within each department, pinpointing areas of improvement, and then basically setting new KPIs and new goals. Like if you have a top performer that's always hitting this, but everyone else is down here, you might want to set a goal that's a little closer to up here to really get everyone to push towards like where that top performer is. And that top performer, it's like, are they hitting their head on a ceiling, or are there different levers we can pull for them specifically to help them perform at an even higher rate? And that's also going to determine who, different types of calls go to, whether they your lowest performer gets, the less qualified leads from like a financial perspective, typically because they haven't earned the right to get the high quality leads. Another perspective to look at from that is, do you give the lower quality leads to the higher performer and then the less quality to the lower performer, and maybe it all balances out? Kind of depends. That's how you lose good closers, by catering to the ones who aren't quite as good. So, which takes us to the ground level. Okay, that's individual skill set, and basically identifying the quality of the leads that are actually coming in. So this is listening to sales call recordings, reviewing the DMs, doing your weekly trainings and role plays. This is actually developing the specific individual to become better within their role. Okay, so putting it all together, how does this all kind of bake in? So again, when I'm evaluating a company, I'm looking 30,000 foot. I'm trying to find a red area within that 30,000 feet. Let's say, okay, over the past quarter, your closing rate is at 32%. Well, depending on the industry and the quality and all of that, I might say, that might be not so good. Let's dive into that and let's look at the 10,000, 1,000 individual rep basis and see if maybe there's some things that can be fixed there. So 30,000 feet is, again, basically your overall company strategy and your goals. 10,000 foot is making sure your departments are working efficiently. 1,000 foot is making sure that the individual contributions to the department are effective. And then the ground level is making sure that the individuals are better. This can both be from a business development perspective and a personal development perspective, depending on how much effort and work you put into your staff. Okay, so I hope this helps kind of see maybe a different viewpoint on how business can be looked at. Again, if you find this helpful, send to a friend. If you want me to actually come in and personally lift up the hood on that bad boy, blow off some dust, see what the hell is going on and why you're not making as much money as you think you could be making, I can pinpoint problems very quickly and I can develop plans around them pretty quickly as well. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and give me a shout. I'm more active on social medias, Instagram, Facebook, but I do respond to comments on here when they come in. So again, guys, hope this was helpful. Take care.